This is a tutorial on how to set up Instacomposer in Studio One. To begin with, you've got to have some instruments set up that represent either a keyboard or some other type of instrument of your choice. I've chosen Spitfire Audio because they have a very extensive library of instruments and they're all absolutely free. I would recommend you take a look at them. So I'm going to drag two instruments over into my DAW. I'm going to have these represent the keyboard. So I'm going to choose piano and a grand piano, and I'll go to the second one and I'll do the same. And the reason that I am choosing two pianos is they're going to represent the left and right hand of the piano player. So the left hand usually plays the chord progression or the bass line, and the right hand usually plays the melody. The next thing that we're going to do is drag Instacomposer over, and we're just going to close it for right now. We want to do some setup with all of these, and to begin with, we'll just right click here and we are going to open up the MIDI editor for the plugin, and we want to shrink this down a little bit so we can see, and we're just going to use a 4 bar progression for now. So you bring your pencil as close to that keyboard as possible, push your left button, drag over to number 4. This is the paint mode on this. And then you're going to do it again, and I usually do it right on the C2 note. And I push and then I drag over a note for 4 bars. And you're going to see up here we now have 4 bars on a track. So this is what we're going to build the basis of our song on. So now we can close this up, and now we're going to work up here. We're going to drag this down and drag this down on the first 2 tracks to show the options that are below. Now in this case, for input, we want Instacomposer, and the MIDI out is going to be track 1 for number 1, and we do the same down here, but we're going to change the MIDI out to track 2, and you're going to see why in a minute here. Now the other thing is to turn on the monitor button for each one of these. So the next thing we're going to do is bring up Instacomposer, and now we can look at this a little bit more in detail. As you can see, a few things. Track 1 and track 2 are the 2 that we're concerned with. Okay, now I'm going to make track 1 for my left hand, so I want a chord progression for that. There's a number of things that you can choose here. Obviously, if you wanted a bass progression, you could do that. If you wanted some kind of riff to play, there's a few selections here, but for this particular tutorial, chord. That's my left hand. Channel 1 equals this. Now on right hand, I want melody. And channel 2 equals channel 2 here. Now there's a lot to learn about this, all the setup and everything, which I'm not going to go through. I probably will do a more detailed tutorial on this whole thing. But for now, we'll be concerned with these two tracks. Now up here you have your presets, and again, this could be a tutorial by itself. I mean, you have all kinds of different keys and progression styles, and there's just a number of things that you can do. We're just going to stay with the default for right now. So we have our melody, we have our chord. And now the next thing we need to do is generate the music. So we will go down to this section. And there's a number of settings here, and again, we'll just go with what we have. We're going to click on number 1, which represents track 1. And we're going to hit go. And what you see is a chord structure right here. Okay. And now we will go down and we'll click on 2, and we'll do the same thing. And you see a melody. So let's just hear how this thing sounds. We just go down, we want to make sure that we're all the way back at the beginning. And then we just hit play. So that's just the 4 bars. Okay. Now, obviously, we could set that to loop. You know, I mean, I'll just quickly show you. You have your markers up here. You can drag the marker out to bar 4. And then when you right click on this, you can activate the loop. So when I play it now, whoops, I'm sorry, I need to rewind. So when I play it now, but what you're hearing here is just the 4 bars that I laid out, okay? And basically you can, you know, choose as many bars as you want, you know, to lay down, because a lot of these songs actually, you know, default to, you know, a certain amount of bars. You know, this might be 12 bars. You can't, or it could be 16. But the main thing is you're testing. And so that's why we just choose 4. You can choose as many as you want. I'm just doing this to make this tutorial, you know, within a reason. So once that's done, we might decide, you know what, I wouldn't mind having another instrument in there. So basically, whatever you have for instruments, I mean, you can use them. I could choose Modo Bass if I want to add bass. Or I can go back to this plugin, which is what I'm going to do, just to keep things consistent. And I'll drag another one over. Now, it doesn't matter where you put it. I try to get it in between those two because I like to keep things lined up. And you know you're going to choose bass here. So just go down. And in my case with these plugins, you choose guitar and you choose bass, and you load that in. Now you have to come over and do your setup over here, and again, Instacomposer, and now you're going to choose number 3, because if you look in Instacomposer, you'll see that bass it's already at number 3. That's just the default of number 3 in the program. So now we want to generate number 3, bass. So we go down here, we click on 3, and the AI will look at what we have here and it will generate a bass line. Now the bass line is a little crazy. It's all over the place for the most part. You know, there are other things like dropping octaves and stuff. But what I'm going to choose to do here is we can listen to it just to hear what it sounds like. Well, I don't think that that's too bad. I mean, otherwise, if I don't like it, I could always go down here and just hit go again and generate a new one. You can do that for each track. That's the beauty of this plugin, is you don't have to settle for anything until you're ready to settle for it, and then you could probably choose one out of here and then regenerate everything again. So you can go on and on with this. I mean, it's very detailed. So at this point, let's just say we're happy with all that. We need to move our MIDI into our DAW. And that's a simple process, because if you've been looking, you probably saw this little icon here that says drag, and that means you're going to drag the whole MIDI file over into the DAW. So we just left click and we drag it over, and we do it one by one. Go back here, and you want to make sure that they're right against the beginning of the song. And then we'll go to this one. Whoops, I'm sorry. We'll go here and we'll take 3 over. Now what you're going to see is that we have a lot more length than our loop, but all we simply have to do is just take our loop and just drag it to where this is. Now this, it's 6.2, I guess 6.2 bars, I would guess, but it's a loop, it's a complete loop. So let's take a listen to it. We don't have to have Instacomposer on anymore. We can mute that, or you can get rid of it if you're done making tracks. I usually keep it there till I know I'm not done. And here we go. So as you can hear, it looped right back and started again. So I mean, this is the start of a song. I mean, you can duplicate these and keep going. You know, it's limitless to what you can do. I really like it because it's great for doing background music for videos and stuff. In fact, you're probably listening to some background music that I generated in this video here. So that being done, I will say that this video tutorial has come to an end, and I hope that you learned something out of it. If you did, give me a like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you want to do, and you will definitely be seeing more videos, as I have a lot to share with people with over 40 years of using a computer. So until next time, have a good day.